Hello and welcome back to Reassembly, episode 7 of the Helios faction. As always, this will be the tournament episode and I am your host, Spirit Balance Holder. So, you've been able to see me build these four designs over here. And I'm sure that you all have noticed how well shaped the beam is and how big of a contender that will be. So, let's go over to the tournament window and see what we can dish out for today. So, I've been practicing a few other factions as well, so don't mind these two for now, and this is just for friends. But these are the designs we'll be working with for the Helios faction. Now, contrary to the Think Rolls, we have been making very light ships really. Which shouldn't really be a problem considering we'll be playing against roughly equal values of P, so it should all even out. Somehow they just ended up being a lot lighter. Shouldn't matter. So, let's add the harbingers, the sprayers, let's add them all. Or actually, if we actually add all of these designs, that might take a long while. So, for all of you that have specific preferences for specific designs, I think I'm going to have to disappoint you because I'm going to take out the weakest contenders. Because the sprayer and the hailstorm, we can already pretty much predict that those will end up at the bottom of the line. But the big contenders, the winners, like the Death Ray for example, those will definitely be part of this tournament. It is I think it should save us a lot of time, because otherwise we'll just be watching countless battles that are really predictable. And that way, that would really be enjoyable for most people, I reckon. So I'll not be doing that. So we'll even out around 1600 P, or 60,000 P. And see how well our designs fare. Or actually, let's remove this one, because we already have a harbinger, so it would be a bit silly to have two of them. So the big harbingers, the tridents we definitely want. There we go. Swamp spawners were fun. The melters were definitely a big contender. And the frontal blasters, I guess. Yes. The focus fire is really very early game. The sprayer is far too weak and inefficient. The hailstorm was also far too inefficient. And the rest is either derivative or starter. So I guess this should be fair. Yeah. We'll add a few of these guys. Alright, so we have 6 contestants for the Tinkerover faction. Now we'll be adding the Helios. I do reckon that we'll have a lot more slowdowns this round, because the lighter designs, despite being lighter, still feature a whole bunch of weapons, and especially when you have like 21 illuminators that all spawn drones, yeah, I reckon that might cause significant slowdowns. So let's hope that won't be too bad of an issue. Alright, Queen Hornet. Starshine, one of my personal favorites. The God Ray. Come on, come on. Buzzsaw. ton of buzzsaws, so might be fun. And can I actually? Yeah, there we go. And the spike once. Does that cover all of them? We have the puffer, we have the hornets. We don't have to start the ship. We don't need any more solar storms. I think this covers it. So, yeah. Alright. I'm missing a feature. I'm missing the bracket and the interlinked mode. Oh well. Start the game. Let's just hope that we don't... oh dear, we do. We do. That's not what I want. Can we fix that? Oh, right, here. Brackets. Strange, they moved that. Got quite a... oh, they added... I see, they added additional features. That's nice, that's very nice. I suppose that most of the default values will do for now. Asteroid fail. Well, we don't need asteroids. I think we'll just go for default. Maybe a bit bigger arena. Alright. And that should do it. Alright, let's go. And first we'll have the beam versus the solar storm. Oh boy. Oh, that's a massacre. That is a massacre. That is a lot of power there in those tiny ships. Definitely wrecking the solar storms. Despite that I personally like the solar storms a lot better than the beams, it is clear that in these kind of situations, I think the beam might be a contestant similar to which one was it? The Death Ray, which we'll see now. The Death Ray versus the God Rays. Because the Death Rays as well were surprisingly powerful with their single front-mounted blasters. And indeed, this time around, even against the Tinkerel, it seems that the Death Rays work very well. They did take a lot of damage in that fight though. Oh, sorry for that. Well, we didn't miss much. Things got cleared up quite quickly. And the Death Rays win this one. As expected. They were the champions. They ought to end up quite high on the list this time around as well. Oh, and this is a nice matchup. This is drones versus lasers. Look at that. That is a very disappointing matchup for the Illuminators because they're very fast, but despite that, they can't do any proper damage when every single drone is just shot down by those lasers. That's one ship down. We have 21 of those, so it might actually take a while. The Illuminators might actually still win simply on point spaces. But from the way it's looking, I don't think they'll be doing a lot of damage. Oh, though here you can see quite a mess. Lots of damage being done. Alright, both parties getting more points. I'll speed this up just a little bit. That's one ship down. Two groups. I reckon that this Melter might actually be in trouble, though he seems to be doing very fine still. Oh, and I think that you'll see a few kills. There you go, that's 3 down. The Melters win, as somewhat expected. Let's see that again. I will admit, I did not expect the Illuminators to end up very high on the list. You've probably also seen it in the construction and all. But the drones of the Helios faction are very, very unstable, and they basically have a front-mounted laser. And the thing with drones is that they are very, very unstable. And that combination, well, you can do the math in that one. They simply won't hit at all. Especially when getting shot down so very, very quickly by just an army of lasers. Every one of them just getting massacred before they even come close enough to do damage. Just a little bit longer. Well, we already know which one is one, I guess. There we go, the melters. The Queen Hornet versus the Spikes. Both quite numerous, I reckon. Oh boy, that is a hailstorm. I did warn you all about the probable slowdowns. Oh, one Queen Hornet is down and 2 Spikes have already been destroyed. That did not take long. Oh, another Queen Hornet down. But also a few Spikes. Only 2 Queen Hornets left. I reckon that they'll simply be buried under the massive, massive hailstorm of rockets and missiles. Or well, torpedoes actually. Because these are all guided. That makes them torpedoes. Yes. This is a clear victor. Spikes definitely were a lot more suitable in this case. Which is not really all that surprising. The Queen Hornets have powerful lasers and they have rockets of their own. But they mostly have burst lasers, and that makes those lasers a lot less suitable for taking down missiles, torpedoes and rockets. As a result, they are being bombarded and simply being overwhelmed. So the Spikes win, despite being such a very, very simple little ship. A very clear victory there. Frontal blasters versus the buzzsaws. This is again going to be a storm. That's 2 frontal blasters down already. Another one. It is absolute chaos. It's always so pretty to see these kind of hailstorms, these spinner ships just doing their thing, destroying everything. Not even a single buzzsaw has been killed yet. And I reckon that no kills will actually happen at this point anymore, because the frontal blasters simply are down to 3 ships. So they'll be moving on now. There's the last one. Into the fray. And destroyed. I don't think we need to wait very long to decide who's going to win the next round. Clearly, this is actually a very, very proper example of how the AI is in part responsible for the defeat. Because probably even if the AI was better, the frontal blasters would still be defeated. But they wouldn't go down without a fight, because they are now all focusing on dodging and maneuvering. And they would stand a much bigger chance at causing damage if they would actually try getting close and actually blast their enemies. But that's simply not happening. The buzzsaws are victorious. Up next, the swarm spawners versus the puffers. This is a curious one. Rockets versus drones. Oh dear, these are guided missiles, mind you. These things are actually homing in on your enemies. So... But something to keep in mind is that the puffers don't have proper defenses against drones. So they might be overwhelmed still. It depends a little on who's going to do the most damage the quickest. So far the puffers are in the lead with 2 kills and a small amount of points, not a whole lot. Oh, that's 2 ships down for the puffers. Just being bombarded by all those little drones. I really have no idea who's going to win this one. There's skirmishes all around. There's simply no telling which will be the greater victor. I reckon though... Well... I wanted to say that the puffers were actually getting quite an advantage. But at the same time, swarm spawners are still doing a lot of damage as well. Oh. Okay, now the puffers are actually getting a greater distance from enemies. Oh, the swarm spawners are down to 4 ships. That explains. Then I think this one is again a quite clear victory for the puffers. I called them the puffers because of pufferfish, in case you hadn't noticed yet. There you go. Collapsing all on a single target. Here we go again. I'll speed it up a little bit. Obviously the game can't handle too much speed up, but if it can't speed up, it will speed up. So in the end, things will still progress a little bit faster. Maybe even a bit more. Yeah, hardly really. Again. Nothing will be left. I would like to do the same zoom in on... Oh wait, here we actually can get that opportunity. All those missiles, all those rockets, and those few little lasers are simply very much inadequate to defend against them. He's not getting out alive, that much is certain. Come on. It seems we actually really can't speed up. It's to 16 times the speed now, but it simply is throttling down again because of all those little particles they have to process. This fight does seem to be a little bit more ambiguous. I mean, the swarm spawners are actually very, very close to the puffers this time around. But I don't think they will win the long run. Such a pretty sight though. Such a pretty sight. Now at this point I regret not making the Tinkerol more green. And making the Helios not more red, because that would be perfect for Christmas. Oh dear, the star shines. And yeah. Yeah. That's one down. It is overwhelming. If you look at the entire map, this is the scale at which we're talking. Everything in that area is just slowly dying from all those little missiles, all those little torpedoes. And not a single starshine has died. In fact, the Tridents haven't even landed a single hit. Not even a single hit has been made. There you go, starshines win. I wish I could speed this up, but I simply have to wait. It can't be sped up anymore because the game simply throttles it down. Can't help it. Sorry guys. There you go. This one will be a lot faster, I reckon. Trying to stay more clustered together. Oh! And they will actually... Yes, they actually got 2 kills. Oh dear. That was unexpected. Oh! And a third one. Will they actually win this? Yes! They will actually... dear! Well, I guess the Tridents won this one. That was unexpected. Now they're spreading out a bit again, so I reckon they won't do as well this time around. They were actually shielding each other with each other's bodies, and just when the blasting started, oh dear, there goes another one. There you go, another Trident down, another Starshine down. It's tied. It's completely tied. It's 3 versus 3 now. Points are almost the same, and the Tridents. Oh. If he doesn't aim properly, he does get a few hits off, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Oh, but this one finishes it. I think they will actually have enough lasers to survive this. Oh dear. Maybe not. Ah, melee attack. But the Tridents win this one, surprisingly enough. I did not expect that. I was actually very confident that the Starshine would end up very high on this list. Glad to be proven wrong. And there you go. Just a whole ton of short-ranged lasers chewing apart the Harbingers. The Great Swords use the weapons, the sword weapons, and those are very, very short-ranged lasers, but also very, very powerful lasers. Making them a very curious choice. Oh dear, that was very, very quick. Helios is clearly winning against Tinkrel so far. Oh, and there you go, the beams. Even the Death Race can't stand against the beams. That was already done. Already done. The beams actually have a greater range than the Death Rays, and because of that they can simply bombard down the majority before they even get close. There you go, already over. Looks like the beams might win this one. There you go, the spikes against the melters. I actually put my money on the melters for this one. They will be digging through all these rockets, all these torpedoes, because lasers is the only thing they have. So they will actually be able to win this, I think. Let's see. Melters are doing damage, also taking a bit of damage. Oh dear, that's 2 melters down. That's not... Oh, 3 melters down. It seems that despite being completely made out of lasers for the most part and just a few shields, it's still not enough to stand against this hailstorm. It's still not enough. There you go. Spikes win. The spikes were actually the second or the first ship we made. So it seems that we actually made quite a proper, efficient design there. For them to actually climb up in the ranks so high so quickly. But maybe if the melters stay closer together, will that earn them a victory? Because this one in the front, that one is already getting chewed up. He won't be standing for long anymore, but these guys together will be enough? I think not, they're spreading out too much again. Then they'll simply slowly get destroyed. That's 1, 2, 3, and the last one. Poor guy, all alone, and blasted into nothingness. There you go, spikes win. And up next, the buzzsaws versus the puffers. This might be interesting. Both use rockets, both use missiles, but one is guided, one is not. So we'll see now which is better, the guided or the unguided. It seems that the buzzsaws currently are having a lead. Yep, a quite significant lead in fact. Buzzsaws are tearing apart the puffers. Despite being unguided, the sheer amount of missiles, the sheer amount of torpedoes is simply overwhelming. Nothing can be done. A beautiful sight, is it not, to see these rockets colliding. Once again, a few buzzsaws die, but the puffers die en masse. I see no reason why the outcome of this battle would be any different. Oh dear. As expected. The great swords versus the tridents. Let's see. Oh dear, don't expose your back, Mr. Trident. That is a devastating mistake. I don't think the Tridents will fight their way out of this one. They're done for. Oh, this time around they actually fight back. But it's not enough. The great swords are simply too fast and too heavy. They break through and start chewing the Tridents apart once again. There you go, only one of them left, and that's the end. Seems that lasers are definitely being favored this fight. So, the spikes versus the beams. This might be interesting because the beams might be able to fight their way. Oh dear, that's 2 beams down already. They have no defenses, no way to fight against these rockets. There's nothing they can do. The spikes are getting a clear and decisive victory here. Despite being so powerful, despite all they have accomplished up to now, the beams will now be destroyed. In fact, they might actually have won this one if they would use more rate of fire rather than the pure power. The way I configured the beams originally was for more of a rapid fire design, because I knew that if you would rely on single shots, it would probably not pay off enough. And And here this is truer than ever. There you go. Spikes win. Seems that despite being so small and whimsical, despite being one of the first designs we incorporated, they still are now in the finals. Against who will it be? The great swords or the buzzsaws? Lasers versus missiles. Lasers versus torpedoes. Oh dear, and that's one. That's two great swords down. 3, 4. They aren't even getting close. It seems the buzzsaws are clearly victorious here already. That did not take long. Only this last one individual remains. And there's nothing he can do against the endless bombardment. There you go. Buzzsaws win. It seems that we'll be having a final wherein both parties will be trying to bombard each other. 28 ships of the buzzsaws against 28 ships of the Spike 1. The highest amount of ships, the highest amount of missiles, torpedoes. Who will be winning this one? There you go. Just 2 of them left. There you go. Closing in and done. Buzzsaws versus the spikes. Here we go. The finals. All these torpedoes colliding in mid-air. It's utter chaos. 2 buzzsaws down. 0 of the spikes have been destroyed so far. 6 buzzsaws down. It seems that the spikes are actually going to win this simply because they have a small degree of defense against the missiles. I think this is actually quite a clear design. It is quite clear who will be the victor here already. Somehow, some way, the first design we made with the Helios is actually going to turn out to be the strongest. Yep, there you go. Spikes won. Now for the last part. I don't think the buzzsaws will be able to come back, but will I be proven wrong? Again, the great clash, the start of the battle. And 2 spikes have been destroyed, but 8 buzzsaws, 9, 10 buzzsaws have already been destroyed. This is not going to end any other way than we have already seen. Destruction is at hand. Just 3 of them left. There you go. Spike 1 is victorious. Somehow, some way, we actually made our strongest design at the first episode of the Helios faction episodes. The Spike 1 is clearly the greatest. They are the most efficient. And thus, that concludes today's episode. I have been Spirit Balance Holder, and this has been the Helios faction. I'm not sure yet what we'll be doing for the next series. We might go Crystalline, we might go Sentinel. I might actually start another game. I don't know which I'll be doing yet. But you'll see it soon enough in the next episode of either Reassembly or another game. Either way, I've been Spirit Balance Holder, and I wish you all a very good day.